Hello, and welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call. To access the call, we are going to remember this password and click here. We're going to, allow. We're going to type in the passcode. And we're waiting for the hostess to start the meeting. She'll be with us momentarily. The hostess has opened up the room and we're going to join with video. We're going to need computer audio.
Okay, and it is 10 o'clock, so thank you. I want to show you, first of all, we did clear that one item we were talking about before, and we ended up with work-related issues, which can be enough to bring that kind of thing out in anybody. But if you don't remember what I'm talking about, it referred to a little spiritual attack. And then I went ahead and got started ahead of time, just in case we had any craziness with our selection and the Excel spreadsheet. But you may remember we're putting a little bit more emphasis this week on QiGong, and our focus is to balance yin and yang, which is the real focus of any healing, in my own opinion. And I scanned the personal and general options, and our focus today is on defense mechanisms. And I've been doing this with clients, and I think we're having some of the best results that I've seen. And simply scanning the general and personal options, and then making an Excel spreadsheet. And here's what we've got in reference to defense mechanisms. And you can simply go, if you want to, you don't have to, but you can go to each one and see if there's a code and simply douse that code in. And I'm sure there will be one for regret. Well, I say that, I guess we're not sure much in reality, but I would hope. Okay, so there is one, so we can simply copy that code. And when these things come up, it means we're ready to clear. It doesn't mean we have a regression that's that nobody else has. This is, of course, a large group also, so you can imagine this has caused some stress. Let's copy. And it's a good thing with code. Regression itself is not a good thing. But okay, look at that. So that's going to do us 99% good to receive this code. Let's just see if we want any more. Okay, so we won't do, since that was such a high number, the Pro Tools. Sublimation, I think you're familiar with that term, which a classic example might be a workaholic who takes all their energy and focuses it on something to distract them from another issue. And we don't have that one, so let's just put that in. And that would be a negative thing. Look, there's some significant stress related to that. And the way these healing numbers operate, we may find a code for it down the road. Seems like they keep an eye on what the requests are. But meanwhile, so this kind of comes into finding our true self, maybe being distracted by our culture or all these other desires we have and not getting to our true self. Let's just see if we make Gong. Well, there you go. Just put it right in there. And let's see if we want the emotions panel as well. Not necessarily. Arguing. All right, so some stress there with that high number with code being a good thing. We'll leave it at that. Fixation. This is all subtle energy, but as I said, it can really keep us out of balance. One of the things, sometimes these fixations can almost be as if a person is in some form of a cult. So, that code might need a little reinforcement. Let's see. Okay, so we could go in here to the Pro Tools. And this is where we're extremely programmed, all of us. And this may be a stress we all are dealing with more often than we realize. I've just been doing lately this kind of request with Pro Tools. You know, you do your own thing. We'll come back to it. And here we are, by the way, still plugging along. Now we're down to 6. God-given power to create what is consciously desired. Self-harming, which can include the way we eat or drink or think. Let's just see if we don't have the hyphen. Nope. So let's just go in here. Not an extreme amount of negativity there. You almost wouldn't expect it if people are going to the trouble to do this kind of work. They're certainly going to be more conscious than the average, that kind of thing. Minimizing. I don't know if anybody's out there or not, so speak up if you are. But to me,
yep, we're here.
Oh, good. All right. To me, that would mean looking at some things perhaps that are done to the collective and saying, oh, well, it's no big deal, no big deal. That would be how I see this, or it might be a personal situation that needs more attention. That code, again, we need a little bit more than that. And a lot of this, 80% of what happens here is your awareness. So you look and you say, well, I thought it was no big deal, this or that, but maybe I better take another look.
Cathy, hi, it's Levi. I just came on.
Oh, hi, hello.
Are we saying minimizing is a positive thing or minimizing is a negative?
With the code, it's a positive. The code is a positive for our energy.
Got it.
I hope. No, I've had that confirmed. But what we're doing then is clearing as we go, but also our awareness. As you know, the awareness is about 80%. Your brain is so phenomenal that just seeing this, you actually start producing, as science now describes it, a bunch of little zeros and ones that, like a computer, because we operate like computers, goes into the cosmos and pulls in some information. So you see now that's not quite enough to clear that. So let's go back. I think it was fixation we also wanted to work with. So we got a bunch of choices. You don't have to do all of these when you're doing this kind of work. Just choose. Let's just go to the recharger and clear fixation. Hours. But also, again, the awareness will come. And then we've got, let's just keep it simple here. And go back in. And let's put non-beneficial minimizing. And we'll come back. Silence. Again, not always a problem. But what has happened, in a sense, is many are afraid to speak up at all. Going to be beneficial at this point to receive that code. Anyway, I'll go on. Let's look at this complaining, because again, those zeros and ones, what you and all of us probably on this call know is that whatever we complain about, we seem to get more of.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and okay, so that's funny that that's not in there. Well, let's just go right here. Yeah, it's an actual quantum thing, which they can now demonstrate a lot of this. Okay, again, for the group, this is not significant. Let's see if we want to do the Gong. It's more of an awareness thing. Not particularly, just thinking about it. Let's see if there's anything else that jumps out. Anybody see anything on here as we're on the Zoom? I'll go and work with all of these. Anybody want anything else looked at a little closer?
No, I think we're good.
Let's go down now, as Deb suggested yesterday. I'm excited about this. Let's look at the other extreme, because we are wanting to balance the yin and yang. Anything jump out at any of you?
Avoidance.
All right. Okay, so we could use a little extra stress management with that. Well, we don't want to charge avoidance, so we may want some Pro Tools. Let's see where we are with minimizing. This yes therapy is actually great for this kind of thing. And let's go in. You can also do this by just making the statements. I think all of you on here know this, but if you go to YouTube, Grandmaster David has some great videos on this. So let's lower. How does that sound? Let's just lower. Beneficial. And what's going to happen, you start and it's going to go, and when you're done, scroll down, and if it hasn't cleared 100%, hit the start again. And sometimes, depending on the issue, it can go and go. And then what was it? What was this last one? Avoidance.
Yeah, avoidance.
Yeah. Let's. Anything else is jumping out? Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah.
I was going to say intellectualization.
Yes, and that is exactly right. What has happened? We've forgotten the true power comes from the heart, but you really don't want to use one without the other. Now we want to do really over intellectualization. Let's see. Okay, so that's fine. It's just, we don't need these codes, but that's just a little extra that you can do if you're so inclined. But anyway, yeah, you want the heart and the brain connected, and this follow your heart doesn't always make sense either. A lot of women in prison are there because they followed their hearts for a man. So just one example. So anyway, just some thoughts. Let's see where we are. Okay, this issue solver, Kevin says, is one of our most powerful Pro Tools. So let's go in here. Let's just do a generic. And see if we can get any more information. Come back to it. Okay, so we're moving down to 5. Paste it back in. Do that. I don't know if I can pull this up. I'm going to see if I'm going to mess this up. I found the most interesting code this morning too, which I'll just email to you for attachments, for attached energies. Okay, so we want to work with these defense mechanisms, the rest of them on the emotions panel. Does that make sense? Kind of how we did that?
Yes.
So the other thing I just want to show for the issue solver, because I was really hoping something like this would come up. If you go in, for example, let's go into acupuncture, even though that's not what came up. Let's just do auto. You're going to also get a lot of things here you can add to the issue solver. So you don't have to be doing scans. For example, they were asking for chakras, the extra chakras. You can go, let's just see. And the same thing with the dispenser. If you're looking for ways, not sure what to add to your issue solver, you don't have to do a full scan. It's funny, we're not asking for as much. This way, a lot of times you get a long list, but you can easily fill up the issue solver. So I'll work on that as we go. But we primarily want these defense mechanisms in the emotions panel. You can see we did ask for quite a bit here. Do a quick scan. Maybe a little too quick, but let's get down here at least to the superfoods in case anyone's going to the grocery store today. Here's your oils. And again, this is all subtle. If you scanned it in another 5 minutes, you might get some different information. But at this moment in time, apple cider vinegar, fruits, raspberries, greens, I guess, salmon, zucchini, pumpkin, rye, just some thoughts, flax, potatoes, plums. Look at all that we want. Interesting enough, yesterday I worked with someone who, for their deep scan, it was enzymes, and they discovered on a subtle level they have a fruit intolerance, which is kind of a shame. because they do enjoy the fruit. So, you know, they're going to talk with a nutritionist and get some information on that. But you can get a lot of information from these deeper scans. So if we go in now, remember we've already got the whole list in here. Let's make sure. Got that. Got our Pro Tools going. And now let's just put okay, so we're ready for that. I wonder what a QiGong Grandmaster would do for us today. So let's see what we've got. Okay, so we're focused, and there's no question that the heavy metal influences the brain, and you may have situations when you work with yourself, and this keeps coming up, to look into chelation or some supplements, etc. But that's the first thing. So that's affiliated with this stress. Let's just see the amount of negativity. Again, not seeing a lot. And we get this clearing quite often, but let's look in here and see if QiGong is beneficial. Good Lord. Yeah, let's go ahead. Again, I'll settle. This will scan. Defensive action withdrawal. Look at that, torture. Do without that. This is the level of stress. Well, again, these things come up and very often are cleared as soon as they come up. Inflammation, that's probably typical for all of us to have some stress related to inflammation, one form or another. Let's take a look. A little bit more significant than these others. We'll go back in a minute. I don't know where these words to ponder came from. I like my women like I like my coffee, cold and bitter. But I will show you in the Prayer Warrior. I don't know if this rings a bell, but last week there was stress related to being male. And we wanted the Prayer Warrior, and we are still running on that. So there might be something like that we want to be aware of. Strength to speak your truth with ties. Again, many of us are afraid to speak up. Let's just look at guilt. And I'll go back and forth as the day goes on. Let's just see where we are with this. Strength to speak your truth. with ties. I guess that's family ties, people, maybe not just family ties, but associates that are close. We could use a little, but we have the potential to clear that. You see that 102, this is acute. This is a recent thing. I think I'm going to have a visitor Saturday that'll help me extend this. So, inner peace, psychic protection, inspiration, resistance factor, defense mechanisms. How interesting. I'm going to do this right now so I don't forget. And then I'm going to wish you all a great day and go ahead and put a few of these in the emotions panel, these defense mechanisms, just to give you an idea as to kind of information we can get. So let's just start here.
Throughout this entire session, this word compassion keeps coming up. Would that be considered one?
That's not a defense mechanism, but that's a very positive. That's my opinion. Love, compassion, gratitude. And that brings up another thing too. We have those who are doing the intention statements. They are really seeing some results. It takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's happening. So, okay, so he see in reference to regression at this moment in time, all subtle, Sanjiao, both male and female, may throw the pH off, and then the Chinese term of cold. Then we've got sublimation. That's interesting. Dental. Arguing. Okay. Fixation. Okay. Let's look at that avoidance, because that was a good one. Look at that. Major exorcism. How interesting. Just for the heck of it, look at complaining. Interesting bunch of frequencies there too. Let's look at isolation. Another major possession. Finish with manipulation. And again, I'm not going to set the time. I'll let you know tomorrow. I'm going to add these on the top and on the bottom. But I know we're close to being finished here, so I guess that's it for today, and I thank you all for being here.
Concludes the SRC4u Zoom call for March 23rd. Thank you for joining. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.